Shane van Gisbergen spun twice, got sent through the grass by the defending champion, and still walked away with his best oval finish in NASCAR Cup Series history. That right there tells you everything you need to know about the kind of day it was at Atlanta. The EchoPark Speedway in Atlanta played host to the 2026 Autotrader 400, and SVG started the day from 28th on the grid. After a rough Daytona 500 the week before, where he was caught up in the big crash and finished 30th, the New Zealand native needed a strong result badly. Not just for his confidence, but for his championship standings. He was sitting 28th in points heading into Atlanta, near the bottom. And in 2026, NASCAR has brought back its chase format, where only the top 16 drivers in the standings after 26 races advance into the playoffs. So, every single point matters. And boy, did SVG come out fighting. He kept his number 97 Chevrolet clean during the first stage and started working his way through the field. The car's handling was a bit tricky early on practice, and qualifying had actually been washed out before the race, so teams were going into the event a little blind. But as the laps went on, the car found its rhythm. By the end of Stage 2, SVG was on fire. He had surged all the way up through the field and was racing for a top 3 position. On the final corner of the stage, he was right on the tail of the lead pack, pushing hard to score as many stage points as possible. Now, before we get to what happened next, it is worth pointing out that someone else in the field was already taking notice of just how fast the Trackhouse racing cars looked. That someone was Joey Logano. During Stage 2, Logano had been running strong, leading 26 laps and staying inside the top 10 for most of the race. But while he was doing that, he was keeping one eye on the number 97 of SVG and the number 88 of Trackhouse rookie Connor Zilisch, and what he saw made him nervous. Logano said on the radio during the stage that the Trackhouse cars were like weapons. He specifically called out SVG and Zilisch, saying they were going to crash all of them at some point. That is a serious thing to say during a race when you are actually in the middle of it all and trying to protect your own car. Logano was not being mean. He was being honest. Those two Trackhouse cars were fast, they were aggressive, and they were moving through traffic in ways that were catching everybody's attention. And Logano was not entirely wrong, because right at the end of Stage 2, a massive collision happened involving SVG. As Van Gisbergen drove along the bottom of the track, defending Cup Series champion Kyle Larson came all the way from the top of the track down to the very bottom. He was trying to cut distance and shortcut his way to the stage finish. But SVG's number 97 was right there on the inside. Larson never saw him. The two cars made contact, and SVG went flying through the infield grass in a wild, lurid spin. Larson hit the outside wall, and his race was done on the spot. He finished 32nd. Here is the thing, though. Logano was half right. SVG did end up involved in a crash. But as the whole world could see, it was not SVG who caused it. He was the one who got hit. And Kyle Larson wasted absolutely no time making that clear. Outside the infield care center, the two-time Cup Series champion stood in front of the cameras and delivered one of the most honest admissions you will hear from any driver after an on-track incident. "I just messed up," Larson said. "I knew the No 45 was inside of me at one point of the corner, but I got clear of him. I didn't quite realize that the number 97 had gotten inside of him, so once I was clear, I just wanted to cut distance and shortcut my way to the stage finish. The number 97 was out of my mirror. I just hung a quick left and ran right into him. There was nothing anyone else did wrong, it was all on me." No excuses, no pointing fingers at anyone else, just a clean, straight admission from the defending champion, all on him. From SVG's side, he was a bit more measured about what he thought happened out there. He said he was not completely sure whether Larson was trying to block him or whether Larson just got loose. Either way, he had no chance to avoid the contact. He noted that everyone was pushing really hard at the end of the stage trying to grab points, so it was just an unfortunate situation to get caught in. But here is what makes SVG's day remarkable. He did not quit. He got his car straightened out and went right back to work. He climbed back through the field and was knocking on the door of the top 10 again. Then, about 30 laps later, he spun again, this time all on his own. He had been battling a car that kept getting looser and looser the longer he was out on track, He had tried to rebalance it by running the bottom, but it did not work, and the car just got sucked around. He went through the grass a second time and ended up on pit road. After the race, he kept it light, joking that for a moment he thought he was a Kubota tractor out there. 2 trips through the grass in one race, and he is still smiling and cracking jokes. That tells you a lot about where his head is at. Because the team at Trackhouse kept working, kept adjusting, and got the car back to a strong place. By the closing stages of the race, SVG was 9th going into the first overtime restart. He then worked his way forward and immediately pushed Trackhouse teammate Ross Chastain clear on the front straight. Chastain went on to finish 3rd. SVG himself was running 4th at the white flag. But in the final corner, he got pushed up the track just slightly and lost 2 spots to Carson Hocevar and Daniel Suarez. He crossed the line in 6th. 6th place, after 2 spins, after being sent into the grass by the defending champion, starting 28th. That result is genuinely impressive by any measure. SVG jumped from 28th all the way up to 16th in the standings, equal on points with Chase Briscoe. Under NASCAR's 2026 Chase format, being inside the top 16 after 26 races is what gets you into the playoffs. It is not a safe spot yet. There is a long road ahead. But after the way Daytona ended, this is a completely different conversation. The timing could not be better either, because next up is Circuit of the Americas in Texas, a road course. And SVG on road courses is a completely different level. He was unbeaten in 5 consecutive Cup Series road course visits last season, 5 for 5. So, heading into COTA, the momentum is real, the confidence is real, and the championship position is trending the right way. As SVG put it after the race, it is just about accumulating points every single week this year. Get to COTA, qualify well, race smart, keep scoring. He mentioned that being in the second qualifying group at COTA would really help their preparation, and that the team had good momentum building. The story of Atlanta was chaotic and full of drama from start to finish. Tyler Reddick eventually took the win for 23-11 Racing in double overtime, backing up his Daytona 500 victory to start the 2026 season with back-to-back wins. It was only the 6th time in NASCAR history a driver had won the first 2 races of the season. But the moment that most people will keep talking about is Larson stepping out of the infield care center and owning his mistake completely, and SVG turning what could have been a race-ending disaster into the best oval result of his entire Cup career.